Hello and welcome to Bellshill Central Parish Church for this, the 39th episode of the Organist Entertains. Now tonight we can see in front of me that one of the Advent candles is lit and I have on my Merry Christmas jumper. It is the start of Advent and as such we have some carols tonight with Advent songs and other requests that you have requested. The first hymn tonight is that great Advent hymn, O come, Emmanuel, to the plain song tune of Veni Emmanuel, written for the Advent season and requested tonight by Elspeth Dornan. It wouldn't be Advent without this hymn, so it's a good way to start this week's Organist Entertains from Bellshill Central Parish Church. Our second hymn tonight is a hymn requested by Anne Dillon. It's the Stuart Townend song, How Deep the Father's Love. It's a beautiful modern worship song sung at Easter, through Lent and at communion services. And we thank Anne for her love of music and the fact that her granddaughter is such a lovely singer and sings some of these hymns that she requests. If I remember correctly, her granddaughter sang How Deep the Father's Love at church in Motherwell, the King's Church where she attends. So thanks, Anne, for requesting How Deep the Father's Love. One of our Advent hymns tonight is the hymn of the Father's Love Begotten. Written in the 3rd or 4th century and translated into English by John Mason Neale in the 1800s. The tune is of plain song origins. Corde natus, divine mysterium. The hymn has been requested by Mark Nightingale, an organist in England who follows the Organist entertains. So we thank you, Mark, for requesting this beautiful Advent hymn. Of the Father's love begotten, ere the worlds began to be, he is Alpha and Omega, he the source, the ending he. of the things that are, that have been, and that future years shall see, evermore and evermore. Our next two hymns are requested by our friend in South Africa, Ed Anderson. The first hymn is the hymn called Behold the Servant of the Lord. It is set to music by Mozart, and you will remember this tune. It is from the Magic Flute and set as a hymn tune to these words. It's really quite delightful, and we do thank Ed for his interesting choice of hymns and tunes, bringing these to our attention and for our enjoyment. So here we have Behold the Servant of the Lord to the tune by Mozart. The next hymn, as I said, is a request from Ed in South Africa. It is the hymn Jesus Stand Among Us, which we have had once before to the set tune in our book Caswell. However, Ed knows a different tune, written by the South African organist R. Stout. This is another delightful melody, beautiful harmony, and for the musicians amongst us, written in no less than 5 flats, which, when you're recording an organist entertains, can be a little bit challenging to get your head round. So this is a beautiful tune to familiar words. Thanks, Ed, for requesting Jesus Stand Among Us. The next two hymns are requested by the same person, Morag MacLeod, who is an avid follower of these Organist Entertains virtual churches from Bellshill Central Parish Church. The first of Morag's hymns is one of our favourite hymns. What a friend we have in Jesus. Now, sometimes this can be played really slow, and sometimes it can be played a little bit quicker. Tonight, we play it just that little bit quicker. Not overly loud, but kept going at a fair old pace. It's to the familiar tune of Converse, which I'm sure is what everyone would find a familiar tune to this hymn. So thank you, Morag, for requesting What a Friend We Have in Jesus. The next hymn tonight is the second requested by Morag MacLeod. It is the hymn Standing on the Promises of Christ my Lord. I hadn't heard the hymn until a few years ago and stumbled across it on YouTube. And there was an American choir, all clad in burgundy choir robes with white collars, all standing up in the choir stalls. I think it was a Methodist church or a Baptist church. There was an organ at one side and a piano at the other side. And for the whole hymn, the organ and the piano played the hymn, accompanied each other and the singers. The minister here at Bellshill then selected his text and themes for Sundays sometime thereafter. And that particular hymn was a hymn which fitted. And because I'd stumbled across it on YouTube, I thought, I know that. I'm sure the choir will know it and the congregation will love it. We'll have it. One of the verses talks about not failing, I think, from memory. But the choir here at Bellshill Central kept singing the word fall. So it was quite funny. On the Sunday that we had this as one of the hymns, through in the hall before the service, the minister came through for a prayer with the choir, and I was going over things with them. And one of the last things that I said was, remember, it's not fall, it's fail, or vice versa. So, of course, when the minister announced the last hymn that Sunday, he announced to the whole congregation that the choir were having difficulty with the words and that we should all sing the correct word, whether that was fall or fail. It caused a little bit of hilarity and some red faces in the choir. However, it did make them sing the correct word. And don't worry, the correct word will show on the screen tonight. So thanks, Morag, for choosing the hymn, Standing on the Promises, and for making me have a chuckle, harking back a year or two ago to the choir stumbling over some words. Love divine, all loves excelling. The hymn by Charles Wesley has been requested tonight by Sylvia Devine, a member here at Bellshill Central. The hymn is special to Sylvia. It was sang at her wedding. So thank you, Sylvia, for requesting such a great hymn of the church in this Organist Entertains. We'll have 3 verses of Love Divine to the set tune of Hyfrydl. Hyfrydl is a melody by Roland Hugh Pritchard, who lived in the 1800s. Love Divine or Love's Excelling can be sung to many different tunes, and tonight I will play a verse of Blanwerin and a verse of Love Divine. Love Divine is a tune which is perhaps not known to many people. It is a tune written by John Stainer, who wrote things such as God So Loved the World and All for Jesus, famous for his Stainer's Crucifixion. Sometimes when you sing words of a hymn to different tunes, it can have a slightly different tone or mood to it. So hopefully by hearing these three different tunes tonight to Love Divine, you can get to hear and appreciate the three different moods that each of these tunes give the words. So thank you, Sylvia, for requesting Love Divine or Love's Excelling and letting me explore with the viewers tonight the three different tunes that can be used. Your penultimate item tonight is a choir piece, God's Choir. Now this has been requested by my mum, Mary Matthew, who has been a choir singer for more years than I've been here on this earth, and started off as a soprano, but as time took its toll, she became an alto. Now I'm a tenor, and so perhaps in time I may become a bass, if that follows the family tradition. However, in all the years that she's been a choir singer, she has loved the song, the hymn, the anthem, God's Choir. It has a refrain, there are 1,000 voices singing in God's choir in the sky, and Mum has requested this, thinking of 3 choir members that we miss dearly here at Bellshill Central. The 3 Bs: Betty Patrick, Bill Cameron and Betty Mackey. So this is a song requested for all of you and for all choir singers everywhere. Singing in God's choir in the sky. Our last hymn tonight is another Advent favourite. It's a favourite hymn of Alexa Walker. It's the Advent hymn based on the song of Mary, the Magnificat. Tell out, my soul, the greatness of the Lord, with words by Timothy Dudley Smith. The tune is, of course, Woodlands. And a few weeks back, we had the hymn Far Round the World, Thy Children Sing Their Song. And the church that I grew up in Wishaw, didn't sing Tell Out My Soul to the tune of Woodlands. It's set to the tune of Maperley, I think it's called, in Church Hymnary 3rd edition, which I don't think is that nice a tune. We sang it to Dunblane Cathedral, which is the tune for Far Round the World. We didn't use Woodlands at all. However, it is set nowadays to Woodlands, which I think is the best tune for it. It's bright, it's uplifting, and it suits these words tremendously. Each verse starts with an upbeat by the pedals before we start with the Tell Out My Soul. So Alexa, I know this is a favourite hymn of yours, and it's a great way to finish one of the first Advent Organist entertains from Bellshill Central Parish Church. Our final little piece of music tonight, before we finish, it is based on the first hymn that we had tonight. O come, Emmanuel, the tune of Veni, Emmanuel. What I'm going to play for you is a softer meditation, variation, reflection on the tune Veni, Emmanuel. Doesn't use lots of loud stops. We hear the beautiful string stops on the swell, and using the coupler system, which allows me to play 3 octaves all at one go, we have a lush, full sounding, quiet middle section. We hear some lovely flutes, and we hear this beautiful melody for Advent. Veni, Emmanuel. Thanks for tuning in, folks. It's been a pleasure and a delight to share with you more hymns and songs played here on the organ at Bellshill Central Parish Church. Moving through the next couple of weeks, we do have some Christmas carols and other Advent songs in the pipeline. Some have been requested already, and I'm sure that more will come out the woodwork as time goes on. As always, we ask that you stay safe and keep well. If you've not already done so, subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's a button down there somewhere which allows you to do it. There's also a link below in the notes box which allows you to make a donation here to Bellshill Central online via the Church of Scotland web pages. So thanks again for tuning in to The Organist Entertains. Next week, we hit 40. Over the hill, we'll wait and see. Good night.